Yes.
He can?
Yes.
Should he be able to?
I don't think.
I think Ives does a good job.
He's doing a better job, but I think he could get a little bit run. But this thing is, he's gonna go.
Oh, Kenneth would. So but see, the only thing that he ever said, it was just casually, it was his thought process.
The Wade and Carter Show is
I'm
a
getting
paid
tired of working
program
so
that
hard.
KHMC
I'm ready
Magic
to use that.
assumes no responsibility for its content. For the Wade and Carter Show bears full responsibility.
Come on, it's Clint, okay?
He welded.
Hey guys, have a great day.
City Council candidate Chad Hall joins us. Astros win, Longhorns off to the World Series, all that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show.
Before we do this, let's go over the ground rules.
Golly.
Rule number 1. No touching of the hair or face.
Wow.
Now that's it. Now let's do this.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
You doing good?
Yes, sir.
Good. I hope this is working the way it's supposed to. I'm not sure it is.
Live on You remember Clark Motley?
Yes, I remember Clark.
Great guy. So Bowen and Caden are buddies, and Caden went out and spent the night with the Motleys, and then they took him this morning.
Good.
Cool.
Saved you a trip.
Yeah, they were going to take Bowen anyway,
Yeah.
and so they said, yeah, let him tag along.
Okay.
Let the kids have a little fun. What have you done? Are you experimenting? You seem to be experimenting.
A little bit. I mean, there's all sorts of things today that
Hey,
I don't know. I think we're streaming.
I'm fairly certain
We've got a few people. The audio's working. I shared it to Facebook
why does it say no sound?
because there wasn't. I had to click a button.
Oh, okay, so but you did click the
Yes.
button.
Yes.
Okay, well that's a start,
And then the live stream has been shared to Facebook,
and it's on.
and it's there. It's working.
It appears to be working.
Yes. So
That means we can say hi to Judge Posey because you know he's in.
Judge Posey's in.
Now, how do we
I'm
see where all
hoping.
of our friends are? We can say hi to Judge Posey
See
because
there,
you know
it's
he's
working.
in.
Judge
Yeah, that's
Posey's
working.
in. It's
Wow.
working well.
Very
Now we got to
well.
go into Facebook.
How do we
and
see where all of our
and
friends
look
are?
at it.
We can say hi to Judge Posey
See
because
there,
you know
it's
he's in.
working.
Judge
You have to
Posey's
click
in.
on
It's
it.
working.
Well.
Very
Now we got to
well.
go into
How do we
Facebook.
see
This is
where
all
all of
new
our
to me.
friends
Look
are?
at it.
We can say
Played
hi to
around with it
Judge-
yesterday, but I wasn't able to do exactly. I don't think everything I needed to do. But it seems to be working now. So that's good.
Well, there we are.
Bear with us, folks. Chris Conrad checking in. HR Mallory
Justin Glass checking. So you can check in with a comment
on Facebook.
on Facebook and we can see it.
Good.
You're just watching, instead of watching a feed from my iPad, you're watching
Straight
a
through
feed
Facebook.
from YouTube. There you go.
Yeah, we've explained it now.
So have you heard how our friend Chad Hall is training for his next triathlon?
I think this will be a bigger battle than any triathlon that he's
Well, his
been
deal
on.
is
This might be more exhausting than any triathlon he's ever been in.
he runs, he flies, he leaps small. He bikes, he swims, but lately he's been walking the neighborhood, getting to know all of his constituents.
And he's probably sweating more
Oh, I guarantee it.
yesterday and this weekend than he ever did
But you know, and we'll get
training
into
for
talking about it.
triathlon.
But after you talk to 100 people, nothing new ever hits you in the face. They all have the same issues. I mean, in some form or another, whether they verbalize it or not, they don't really want their taxes to go up. They'd like for our streets to be better, and they would really love for us to have a consistent and content first responder corps. They're all for paying the police more. They're all for paying firemen more. They don't want their taxes to go up.
No.
They all want their streets redone. They don't want their taxes to go up. And it led me to, and we're sneaking up on a break, but I'm going to tell you, and Ash has a story as well, of something this weekend that, folks, is just flat avoidable. And it is one of the things, these two incidences evidence something that holds Victoria back. So we'll take a quick break and get into it. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Allen is your go-to tow-to. You need to get from here to there. You need somebody to come out and pick you up out of a ditch. You need somebody to help you when you're on the side of the road and don't have a spare. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. You do have a choice when you're going to be towed. I only trust my vehicles to Allen's Wrecker Service, and that's a fact. The VCS companies, whether you need surveillance, surround sound, security system for your home, 1080p, zoomable cameras on the, this is high-tech, corporate level stuff you can have at your home. My alarm system cost me $54.16 a month.
That's it?
That's all in, all done. I've got 2 cameras, motion detectors, glass breakage sensors. Unfortunately, I have tested it, and it's, whoa, you can hear it over at Shalimer. So be aware that the VCS companies is a bargain of a really quality system. Chesnick Furniture Company, 101 years in downtown Victoria, doesn't get any more quality than that. Best recliners. They've got Tempur-Pedic bedding. They've got all the
Accoutrement.
They have it.
They
French, English, everything else. They've got it. Go tell Bobby Leon and his team that Wade and Carter said you get 50% off and delivery today. If you're nice to them, they'll haul off that old mattress. You ever wonder how that mattress weighed like 45 pounds when you put it in there and it weighs 900 when you leave? That's because of all your
skin sloughing off.
Grossness. Come on, man. Get rid of that thing.
Yeah.
Get a new mattress. You spend a third of your life, in theory, in bed.
You do.
Why not be like super blessed and comfortable? Reach out to the folks at Chester Furniture. Today, Veracruz back in the saddle.
Back again? Good.
Yeah, hard at it. get in today for a fajita taco salad, chicken or beef fajita, or just get the taco meat.
You think the caldo's been simmering for the entire week while they were gone?
Probably. They just put a big pot on and just add to it every day. It's a hodgepodge. You know, I told
Can't
you
wait till Caldo
this.
Wednesday.
I've had allergies and this uvula thing. I had to look it up because I was thinking about just cutting it off.
Can't do that.
No, they said
No.
that it works in conjunction with your soft palate to keep food out of your nasal passage
That
when
makes
you
sense.
swallow. And it apparently produces a very, not the thick, but a very light saliva that helps you swallow food, lubricates the back of your throat.
Nice.
So I'm going to go ahead and keep mine. If it gets any bigger, I might have it circumcised, but I'm going to keep it.
Cut it in half.
Yeah, just whack it.
Justin Glass in, Amanda Smith King, Terry Murray, Scott Tomko says he's a little challenged by this, but good morning, Jerry
Scott,
Glass.
just
We're-
bear with us,
we're-
Scott.
We're getting to it, Scott. We're working. I think there's more people checking in on YouTube this morning.
But is
so that's
that
good.
that looks accurate?
That's our camera.
How did you get the video to be like where it says Astros correctly?
I had to download a
Astros.
software,
Astros.
but
It
it
used to
won't.
be backwards.
It won't let me. Roy Gutierrez is in. Bobby Leister's in. Bob Watley.
That's Roy Gutierrez. And let me tell you
That's what I
something. Yeah. Right.
H.R. Mallory, Scott Conrad, Matt
Leto.
O'Shea coming over. Good morning to you.
Roy got another car. Georgia is still driving her, 600 horsepower Shelby Mustang.
Yeah.
Roy had a beautiful car and
Did he?
got rid of it. And he goes, I got a new one. I said, what is it? He showed it to me. It's like a graphite. It was a dark gray, kind of like my car.
Okay.
Okay, but 840 horsepower. And it's a Shelby, he'll tell us in a minute what it's called. Like, not King of the Road. That's something like that, though. Super Snake. It's a Super Snake. And you can tell the Ford
Sneaky
race
Snake?
goes dancing. No, Super Snake. And like the intake for the superchargers, all graphite.
Super Snake, he
And,
says.
and everything is stainless under there, and everything, the oil cap, Super Snake. And, it's very, very, very beautiful car. I think it was like a 2017. It had 212 miles on it. He bought it in Dallas, so he had it trailered
So
down.
basically, they took it off the trailer, on the trailer, into
Yeah.
the lot, out of the lot. That was
That's
it,
exactly
right?
it.
Yeah.
He drove it from his home over to the mall. It's about a mile and change. He told me, he said, if you'll come by, if you can get in it, I'll let you drive it. And I said, I'd be so nervous, I'd probably want to have 8 or 10 beers before I got behind the wheel. Can you, 840 horsepower. Can you, hey, he's like, okay, be careful. Can you imagine if you
I know exactly what would you would be on one of those YouTube videos that I watched over the weekend of supercar crash challenge, where people got behind the wheel of a supercar that had never driven one before,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
they're into a wall.
Did you see the old Camaro commercial with Jeff Gordon? It's a Pepsi commercial, actually, where he gets
Supercar fails. That's it. Thank
he
you,
gets
Roy.
the guy in the he gets the guy from the car dealership in the Camaro. The guy goes, he's got like a fake mustache and everything. Gordon does,
That was
and
good.
just drives it like a
Like Jeff Gordon
like
would,
Jeff
yeah.
Gordon scares the guy. If you wreck it, you're paying for it.
So
It was beautiful. And by the way, and I think Brother Gary's the one that told us about that on Thursday. But there was a really nice turnout, some really fine vehicles, and this leads into my semi-rant or my observation. There were a group of people there who really take pride in Victoria, take pride in their hobby, take pride in their vehicles, and they were all walking around building each other up. I heard a guy say, "Well, I would polish that. I would go a step further and do this and this and this." And then there were old vehicles there that we all laughed about. Well, that's a patina. And the guy goes, "No, that's rust." But it was that kind of a give and take deal.
Yeah.
And Dawn indulged me and let me hang around for about almost an hour, and it was hot. But that said, I'm at HEB the other day, and I love the fact that HEB provides those little scooters for folks that have a hard time getting around.
Yep.
Now, HEB provides that. Hey, there's no law that says they have to provide that for
No,
you.
it's a nice service.
It's a nice service. And then they also, over there on the right side at HEB Plus, she had a couple of things. It was a Sunday. She had a couple of things she was offering. And I get back there by, you know where the T is on the back wall? And this lady comes around the corner, and she's being polite. I kind of stopped so she could go by with her buggy. And she'd drive a couple of feet and eat a bite of that, and drive a couple of feet, eat a bite of that. And after she was done, like with no thought, she just swerves her buggy over to the right, takes that little pill cup, the little spoon,
Yeah.
and just sets it on the shelf in the cooler cabinet right next to the iced tea. Puts her garbage on the shelf.
It's not trash.
No, and I said, I'm sorry, folks, you know me. I just looked at her and I said, ma'am? She is, yes. I goes, is that where you think that belongs? And Dawn just goes, oh, Brent. I go, is that really where you think that goes? And she looks at me and goes, well, yes, because they don't have trash cans around the store for me to use. I go, why don't you put it in the buggy they give you to use and let them throw it away at the very least when you get to the front? And I just walked off. Because she's an idiot. I mean,
There's a little trash can right beside where she picked up the food because most people don't take off
Right,
to
they
the
don't have
store
to
with
go
it.
on a cruise.
They eat right there, and then they drop it in the little trash can.
But it is a Victoria mentality of entitlement. You know, it's like, oh, I'm from Victoria. I'm going to eat and enjoy this. I'm going to put the trash wherever I want, and somebody else can pick it up because they work for me. You had a similar incident.
I had a similar incident. Different store, Walmart, on the north side of town. I stopped by there after the Generals game Saturday night. Didn't realize they closed at 11 o'clock. I figured, because Walmart, pre-pandemic, used to be open 24 hours. And I had some things that I needed to pick up for Sunday, so I thought I'd stop by. But they were closed. But anyway, I pulled into the parking lot. I didn't find out they were closed until I walked up to the door. Because people were coming out, I just figured they were still open. I pulled in and parked. Somebody had taken their ice chest and dumped the entire contents of it, empty cans, ice, bag of ice, all this stuff, right? Dumped just in the parking lot. Now, I know the ice is going to melt, no big deal. But the plastic bags the ice came in are going to be
Right.
there. All the empty cans, I mean, probably at least 18 cans.
Well, maybe that's why he dumped it all. He was like Dean Martin.
Maybe. And I didn't look to see if they were beer cans or not. They actually kind of looked like some of those hard seltzer cans, to be honest.
It was a woman.
But,
Are the dudes drinking the hard seltzers?
yeah, I think so. But just, I hate to say it's so typical of what you see. I mean, around this town, and nobody takes pride in it.
Yeah.
Again, the Don't Mess with Texas may have been the greatest marketing campaign ever, absolutely the worst at changing behaviors,
No doubt.
because it
We-
doesn't do it.
We've talked about it here that if you just do something every day to make Victoria a little bit prettier, in about 6 weeks, this would be a really pretty place. It would be a beautiful place if everybody that owns a business that operates in a strip center just went and bought a pot at Lowe's or Home Depot or Tractor Supply or anywhere and just put a plant in it. Go out there every day and water it.
If everybody in Victoria would just stop littering,
Oh, it'd be
you
beautiful.
wouldn't have to put something in front of your business to take everybody's eyes off the litter
That's right.
that's on the ground so they can see something that looks nice other than the piles of trash around this town.
Yep. H.R. Mallory says Navarro median total supercar when driven by novice. And Roy Gutierrez adds, hey, Navarro median totals all cars driven by most Victoria citizens. The median is, I guarantee you it's taking the chrome off a number of wheels.
Oh, yeah. Change. People don't like that. Bobby Leister says, you just puts the trash in the back of my truck.
Right, and back of Ash's truck. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Appreciate that, Bobby.
Well, I also,
And I know he's joking.
it wasn't until I was basically an adult that I started seeing disposable diapers in parking lots, things like that. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh, but anyway.
Well, why don't we do this? Why
Take
don't,
another break. We'll
let's
bring
take a
Chad
quick
Hall
break
in.
and bring Chad in, and see what's going on, folks. The Atzenhofer dealership since 1926 has been Victoria's dealership. Ed Atzenhofer sold his first car for a Chevy. What do they call it? A Chevy 500, something like that,
I
for
think
probably
so.
about $500. It got its name for what it cost. Now,
And you could get it in any color you want as long as it was black.
it's not nearly as sexy to say the Cadillac Escalade 135K, but, cars have gotten expensive. Atzenhofer does a great job. They help you maintain all makes and models. They service them all. They paint them all, inspect them all. They are everything a car dealer should be, and they've been here for 95 years. Reach out to the Atzenhofer dealerships for your next. Atzenhofer.com, by the way. Slow Monday at work. You can shop for a new vehicle.
Online, you don't even have
Online.
to. Yeah.
White Trash Services, 550-1826.
Whether you need weekly service, a dumpster, a roll off, all of that.
The Lester Roll-Off Biblical Dumpster, if you need one, he's
And
got it.
Victoria and all the surrounding counties, White Trash Services, not only do they provide the service, they're reliable. Every week, they'll be there when they say they're going to be there. Unlike maybe the competition who might show up the day they're supposed to.
Right.
Not White Trash. They will be there. 550-1826. Give them a call. You'll talk to somebody. You can get service set up today, started probably by Wednesday.
Sure.
At the very
You
latest.
can talk to a person this
Yeah,
morning.
exactly.
Then Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull and his team will come out and help you with your analytics. They'll help you maintain and encrypt your data. They'll keep people from hacking into your website. They'll help you develop that brand. Anything to do with your public presence on the internet or on Facebook or on a web page, whatever, they can do it. Reach out to them. The law offices of Steve Kidder. Steve Kidder can help you with contractual issues. He can help you with all kinds of. This was a little bit of a
Oh,
bind.
was it? Okay.
He can help you with all kinds of.
Thank you.
Whether it be divorce, marriage, contractual stuff, even criminal representation if you need it.
He's not the criminal.
No.
You're not getting represented by a criminal.
Steve's not,
If you happen to have criminal charges against you, he'll represent you.
he's
just
not
clarifying.
any more criminal than any other attorney. Okay? He's right there in the median level of criminality associated with all great legal minds. Steve Kidder's the guy. Complete 360. I guarantee you Chad Hall knows about Complete and the Health Bar. He's got his daughter here today. How about a waffle with strawberries and blueberries and a whipped topping and syrup after the show right over there, courtesy of your dad? How about that? It is just right here on. She's trying to hide behind it.
No, now she's looking at mom like, can we really go get a waffle,
Yes,
Mom?
the waffle. I highly recommend it. Gluten-free, protein-based. It's got an oat flour to it, and it's just phenomenal. You will be so thrilled with the waffle at Complete at the Health Bar, which is just right here. It's going to be great. She's going to enjoy
People
it.
are coming over to YouTube. That's good.
That's good. We need it. So let's get Chad to come in.
Iceman is in. Amanda King. Junior Samples checking in.
So
The only thing we can't do is we can't shift the
No,
camera.
we can't.
We'll work on that. We're going to get a
everybody
separate
knows.
camera.
By the way, he looks great in that. So I've got a couple of his signs in my yard, right? Because we're family, and he went through a number of pictures. One was the smoking jacket. He was holding the pipe, and he decided that looked a little too Thurston Howell, So he went with a more conservative, just a nice blue suit. He looks like $1 million, and but he looks very serious.
The outtakes
Very serious
of
in that picture.
the yard signs would be
Right.
hilarious.
Right? Just wearing a Hawaiian shirt, hey. But so if you have to get right, you can talk right on that.
It's not
microphone,
hay in Hawaii. It's hang loose.
right? So
Come on.
and it's on, and you just right there. You can move it anywhere.
Move
you
it
want.
around. It
You
won't
can
make
move
any
it anywhere
noise.
you
You'll be good.
want. And but talk right into it. And we were saying before you came on that once you've gone around, and I know it's a family event for you guys, which is great because you've got families in your district. Once you go around and talk to 100 people, they want their roads fixed. They want the parks to be cool. They want the police to be happy, and they don't want to raise their taxes. Tell me one other thing you've heard from somebody.
Well,
Well, first off, thanks for having me this morning.
Oh, absolutely.
It's great to be here. And I was talking to Michelle the last time I was here. We're just a couple days away from the greatest day that I've ever had in my whole entire life. And it's funny how things book in. Now I'm here in one of the scariest moments.
Third greatest. Marriage,
Is that
birth of daughter.
Is that when you got married or when you met her?
That's when I finished the Ironman World Championship. Michelle was there, Georgia was there. They know what it means.
Absolutely. I've seen the pictures. The flag.
So appreciate being here. So
Absolutely.
The question was one thing that's different.
You know, like, what do you? We all know that people are saying, well, we want you to fix our streets, and we want the parks to be good. We don't want our taxes to go up, and we think the police should make more money.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Well, the subject of dirty diapers in parking lots have not come up yet.
Right? It will.
Right, but we have had a lot of people talk about this, so it's good that you're talking about that, especially in Terra Vista. They've been talking a lot about doing a lot of cleanup efforts in Victoria. So we're hearing a lot about that, a lot about growth, and are we really growing? And we've had some pretty strong feelings on that. So we've been out there visiting with people, telling them what our thoughts are on growth and why we're running.
Are you feeling like Victoria is growing, or is it more poised for growth?
I think we're more poised for growth, and hopefully as we're able to move on in the interview, I'd like to share some statistics with you on what I think of that.
Well, why don't you take a minute and,
let's go.
You guide the conversation this morning. We'd like to let you have that time.
Well, perfect. How about first off, I'll tell you why I'm actually running for city council. So my wife, Michelle, we live in Bridal Ridge with my wife, Michelle, and our daughter, Georgia. It's the same first home that we bought 20 years ago.
Yep.
We
were neighbors for a number of years.
Yeah, you bet.
14 years, I think.
We're still there. We love our neighbors. Our neighbors are really what has kept us there. I decided to run for city council because I believe that the citizens who live in District 3 and all Victorians deserve to have one of our proven business leaders step up and serve. Somebody that actually has firsthand real-world experience in creating economic growth, not just somebody that's going to come along during election time and use that as a campaign slogan. We need somebody that has experience in creating jobs here where we live, hiring Victorians here where we live. I'm very proud of the work that I've been able to do at Regional Steel Products over the past 15 years as general manager, and among many things, I've had to totally revamp our purchasing strategies, our supply chains, to be able to source material from across the world so that we can bring steel and metal products here for the people that actually are responsible for building South Central Texas. I've had to learn how to deal with domestic steel mills here domestically in the United States, in places as far away as Turkey, India, South Korea, and as a result, we've become more competitive and profitable as a company, and in turn, our customers who build South Central Texas have become more competitive and more profitable, spurring economic growth. We're in your buildings, we're in our universities, our schools, we're in your churches, we're in our oil rigs, our roads, our bridges, we're in the foundations of your homes, and we're in your backyards, in your barbecue pits, and your deer stands. So in addition to that, when I graduated from the University of Houston here in Victoria with my MBA, I began a career in human resources at the City of Victoria. I worked there as a senior human resource analyst, and I learned how each department works in conjunction with the city manager and city council to serve Victorians. And I believe that experience matters. And I think that my skill set that I've been able to gain along the way and my abilities would translate well into serving on city council.
It sounds impressive, Ash.
It does, yeah. No, I'm.
How's it?
I think we're okay.
Everything
yeah.
worked
Little low because I think we're using the mic from the laptop to try to pick up
some of the. Okay.
Yeah.
So, this microphone's not going into
no,
this?
it's going through the board to the radio, but Chad, I guess might need you to speak up a little bit just to hear you through the mic. So that's all.
Pretend you're talking to the microphone over here. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. So both are there. We're just trying to get through the. Well, we'll still need that one so everybody on the radio can hear you. So maybe slide over this way.
That one's got a couple of thousand listeners, and so does this one. But this one here, we have been really encouraged by the number of people that we find out listen on Magic 95.9. It is amazing. Ash and I, if we go somewhere together, most of the time, somebody will come up and go, "Hey, I listen to you guys on the air," and it's not somebody that either one of us knows, and it's never the same person. So it's very, very flattering. Very cool.
So why do you think Victoria is poised for growth then? What's showing you that? Let's dive into some of those numbers and how you think you can help us get to that growth stage.
Sure. So like I said, we've lived here for 21 years and we love Victoria. We love Victoria. But oftentimes I think, especially from a business perspective, in order to be able to grow, you need to accurately assess where you currently are. And I'm going to tell you some things that a lot of people aren't talking about, but they're true, they're facts. We're more poised for growth than what we're actually growing. In our comprehensive 2035 plan, for example, a lot of people are trumpeting that we're growing. We're at 6%, 7.4%. Let's just go ahead and call it a flat 7% growth, which sounds really good, but Victoria does not live in a silo. And when you take a look at the other cities that Victoria compares itself to, here's the true statistics. Yes, Victoria has grown at about a 7% rate. But on the city's website, and this information is there for everybody to see, if you look at a comparative analysis, Victoria is 7%. Baytown, 14%. Bryan, Tyler, 20% growth. Temple, 29% growth over the same time period. So, yes, we're growing, but fellas, even in the state of Texas, in that same time period, Texas has grown at an 18% rate.
Absolutely.
And I would suggest to you that while we're looking at just that number, it's fun to talk about, we're an aging city that's on the decline, and we have to admit where we are.
And
That's
part
exactly
of the issue
right.
with a city that's not growing is it becomes more expensive for the existing population to then repair the infrastructure that's crumbling around. So, I mean, District 3 is your priority, but how do you take that priority and help Victoria then grow so that the tax base can grow and the burden isn't left to everybody that's still here?
You bet. What we're hoping for is more shopping centers that stay empty and we can't fill them, and more payday loan check cashing places.
And mattress stores. What else was it? Game rooms.
Game rooms
and
Mexican restaurants.
Right,
That's
that's
it.
it.
That's what seems to fill the voids when something leaves one of the
But you're
shopping
exactly
centers.
right. I think, and we've talked about it here, that Victoria is a couple of bad decisions, a couple of bad election cycles away from being Sinton. And that used to be apropos, except Sinton now has an Exxon plant coming in. Sinton has a steel mill going in there, and Sinton's booming. So Victoria needs serious economic development and a serious kick in the seat.
Right, and this is what's key for me deciding to run. I sit on the sidelines and really deliberated back and forth. Get in, don't get in, get in, don't get in. And it's difficult, fellas. It was a really tough decision to make. But ultimately for me, I can't be a business leader sitting here in town waiting for somebody else to fix all these problems. When I was walking with Michelle one night and we're talking about what should we do, it kind of came back to my Ironman story where I was waiting for somebody else to fix me. If I can just get a prescription or I can get a surgery, and I thought, you know what, I'm always waiting. And when does our generation want to step up anyway? If I want somebody that knows what it's like to cut through red tape and try to get rid of some of these regulations and bureaucracy, am I going to wait for another business leader to do it, or am I going to do it myself? I'm totally capable.
Yep.
So we've been out there trying to share real data with people, and growth is important. And yes, we are growing in District 3, but District 3 also does not live in a silo by itself. We do have some of the newer home developments, but one of the shocking statistics that I point out to people, for me it's a two-pronged approach. We have to be worried about growth, and we have to be worried about our property taxes, and that includes housing. Did you know that 62% of all the houses in Victoria were built before 1979? The median house price right now, when I was looking at the comprehensive 20.
So not only is our infrastructure aging, our houses are getting older as well.
You bet. Well, that's why I say that we're an aging city. So 62% built before 1979, and that becomes a problem for us even when it comes to disaster resiliency. Infrastructure, you're exactly right.
Yeah, building codes have changed and such. How does that compare? Did you look at comparables to other cities that we compare with? How does our aging housing infrastructure look? Do you know?
That part I need to get back with you on, but I do know that.
I don't know that it's important. I just was curious.
Well, as far as home ownership, and this is another big thing for us, we have to have more beginner home ranges and mid-range home pricing. We have to have it in order to keep growth. It's not that Victoria's not a great place. Our big problem here, since we've been here for 21 years, I call it talent turnover. We have people come into our community, they get experience here for their careers, and in a year or two, they're gone. They come in, get experience, they're gone. And it breaks our hearts because we invest in these people, we endear ourselves to them, we love them, and then they leave. how many police chiefs have we gone through in the last 20 years? Or people, our teachers, our police force, our media, people come in and they go and watch them go. And I think a lot of it actually has to do with housing, because a lot of these folks, they don't actually live here in Victoria. They can't afford it. There's houses in Goliad and Inez, or they rent. Rent is median $1,500.
Yeah.
And depending
It's a
on who you
lot.
listen to, if it's the city of Victoria or HUD, the median income for a family of four is somewhere between $55,000 and $72,500. The median home price right now, like I was saying earlier, is $195,000 if you look at the comprehensive plan, or if you look at the report just released yesterday by the Victoria Area Association of Realtors, it's $207,000. We're pricing ourselves out. Now, beyond that, you're also right about property tax. We need to talk about that. And I've been taking this chart around. I want to ask you to hold it up to people if you don't mind.
But let me ask this question, because I know it's probably coming from some of the folks watching. How does the government help fix the affordable housing, or how does city government help fix that? Because there's many here that don't think that's the city's purview, or they should not be in the housing business per se. So what could the city do to help encourage more affordable home ownership or homes?
Right. Now, I'll agree that the city should not be in the business of building homes. That's not what this is all about. I'm just trying to make people aware of some of the problems that we're dealing with as a community. I'm strong on entrepreneurship, and we need to encourage our home builders to actually get in and start working on these level of homes. We can't expect people to graduate here and start a career here in Victoria if they can't put down roots.
We haven't had a entry-level home builder since Al Hogan left
That's right.
town probably 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, and so if you can find a home, it's going to be older than 1979 likely. It's going to be very high priced. And if you look at this chart here, coming back to this, we're on the wrong direction here. This is our revenue growth rates. The red line represents sales tax revenue at the city. And it reflects what you think the economy should look like. We go up, we go down. When things are going good for us, the revenues are good. When we go down, it goes down. But if you look at this blue line, this is our property tax rate, and it is always increasing without regard of what's happening in the rest of the economy. And now if you look over towards 2021, you'll see that we have actually eclipsed each other. So the burden, especially in District 3 where we have the newer homes, we're paying more and more in property taxes, and we're carrying more and more of the burden. And that's why this is important to try to get more starter homes going. You know, I work for Habitat for Humanity because it's really important for us, for me, to try to work on starter housing. And oftentimes people confuse Habitat for giving away free homes. We do not give away free homes. Our families who are approved for these homes and move in have to pay a mortgage like the rest of us. But fellas, even on the very beginning stage of starter homes, like a Habitat home, these good folks are paying equal amounts on their mortgage as what they are their property taxes.
Right.
Equal amounts. This is a problem. We're pricing ourselves out of growth.
Well, one thing worth noting is you said that people come in, they have talent, they hone it, and then they leave. The trade-off is guys like me and Ash, we have no talent, but we stay. We're still here. It's the trade-off. Makes it work. No real discernible talent, but a willingness to stay and slug it out. I don't know what
Iceman says 150 square foot average cost on a home built 40 years ago. Folks can't afford to rent, and if they do, they struggle with the ability to purchase a home with an affordable mortgage, and then you throw the property tax on top of it. So he's just echoing what you've said, is that our prices are high.
Land, of course, you know, we're kind of landlocked in town. So if you had 100 acres and it was somewhere in the city, it is a lot easier for a guy to go in there and chop it up and sell it, you know, at $25,000 to the quarter acre, sell a $25,000 lot, and by the time you throw a house on it right now, with the price of housing being at say $175 a foot, which is what a lot of it is, probably very realistically $150 a foot. So you build a 2,000 square foot house. You build a 1,500 square foot 2-bedroom starter house, and you're at $225,000 in building costs plus the lot makes it $250,000. So you're going to sell that 1,500 square foot house for around $275,000 or $300,000 just for the builder to get out of it. It's crazy. I don't know what we do about that as a community. If that's a that could be, to me, how the city council could be involved, would be to pull the community together to do what's smart for the community. Do you want these young people to stay? We all have to give away for these UHV grads to stay and make things happen. And at the same time, I don't know how, which you've already said, I don't know how you get the city with good conscience involved in the building trades. That's not smart either.
Well, here's just the thing, and again, I'm not advocating that the city get into the home building business, but as a business leader, I can't stand by and not try to make people aware of the statistics and where we are.
100%.
It's not up just to the city. The city can't do it by itself. We have to jump in and we have to help out. And on that note, sometimes too, the city can make it a little bit more difficult with some of the red tape and restrictions.
That was going to be my question. So what can the city do to help spur this along without seeming like they're playing favorites to this builder over that builder?
Sure. Well, take for example in the Parks Master Plan right now. In the Parks Master Plan, they have a revision in there saying that if anybody does come in and they develop these new subdivisions, that they pay all these fees. There's a park development fee. There's a fee in lieu of that developers will actually put money into for us to build a park later down the road. That's cost prohibitive, because if people actually do come in and they want to build these subdivisions with starter homes, mid price range houses, and they're socked with these fees on top of it, guess where that goes? It goes to the people that are buying the home.
And parks that typically aren't even in those communities being built, because a lot of these communities don't have a park in them. The city identifies a place for a park, hoping that residents will then go to it, because I serve on the Parks Commission. They'll put a park in an area, they'll think it serves all these people from a certain area, and the reality is people aren't going to drive to a park. Except for Riverside. It's about the only one that people drive to, maybe a couple
They want to
others,
walk.
but
They want to put the baby in the stroller and walk over there. That makes sense.
Yeah, so oftentimes I think that, with the city, it's not so much, again, we don't want to be in the home building business, but there's things that we can do to get in the way, and we need to get them out of the way so that private developers can do the job.
I like that.
And we've heard that, a lot of red tape when it comes, not just to home builders, but to businesses in general. We've discussed some of the things here, like putting sidewalks in front of businesses that have absolutely no walk-up traffic. There's no sidewalk on either side of this business, but they've got to put a sidewalk in front to service absolutely nobody. So that's one that we've discussed, at length on this show. But what are some other things that you've seen that could help just business in general, not necessarily the home builders, but would help bring more business to Victoria or maybe even to your district?
You bet. And this comes back to the point I'm making about talent turnover again. When major employers come to town, the first question they want to know the answer to is, where are people going to come in that we're going to hire? Where do employees live, and how far are they going to be driving in? Employee turnover is important because it's expensive. It's not just expensive for us as a community, it's expensive for employers. So if we have a reputation for being a pass-through market, people come here, they get experience, and they go to Richmond-Rosenberg. Employers know this, and they look at that, and they're not going to locate here in Victoria because they're going to go where all the employees are going to, so they go to Richmond-Rosenberg where all the development is happening. So again, it's not one entity can do it by itself. It's not the city's job to make sure that people stay here, but our community leaders, our business leaders, we have to start stepping up. Instead of complaining about the red tape and the things that are wrong, we know how to make things work and spur economic growth, so we need to get more actively involved with our county, with our city, and be a voice to try to get people here. You cannot talk about economic growth before you talk about jobs, and you cannot talk about jobs before you talk about affordable housing. Employers that are coming here know this and look at that, and if we have a shortage of one, we're going to have shortage in the other, and they're going to look somewhere else.
So is there demand, Ash, right now? Like, let's just say that I got extremely motivated, got on the phone, called some people, figured out that Steve Klein agrees with Chad and me. Is there, if I go out tomorrow and start building, $150,000 homes, which, by the way, a young couple could probably afford, if they're paying $1,500 in rent, they could probably afford a $150,000 house. Would I sell those houses hand over fist? Are there people lining up to buy those houses?
It's a good question.
In this market, is that demand there and not being fed, or is it if you build it, they will come?
Well, I think that, when it comes to housing, if we really want to keep people here, they have to have a root system in place. And it's a lot easier to, take me and Michelle, for example. we've also had opportunities to go different places for different opportunities, but we decided to stay here. And actually having a house and neighbors and people that we love have been important to us, and it's helped keep us here.
Right.
Zach Smith says builders can't make any money building cheaper homes, but if that's the case, they wouldn't be building them anywhere else either. And you drive to Houston, you can see home prices in the 120s. So they're making money somewhere.
Now, while I'll agree right now it's really tough everywhere because lumber is so high,
Yeah.
sheetrock, and I get what he's saying there, but long term, what I'm saying is that if we want Victoria to grow, we have to keep our talent here.
I agree. Adam, are you there? Hi.
Good
What do you got?
morning.
He can't hear you, but you
Well,
can
you
ask
might
me.
be able to. Hang on.
Maybe
Let's try this.
tell us a story.
All right. Give us 1 second and we'll get. Okay. What's your question, Adam?
Yeah, y'all already covered it with that. I mean, where was the last $150,000 brand new house y'all pop up in the city of Victoria?
Right. So he's what he's saying is that there's
Yeah.
there are
Thanks,
no
Adam.
new homes in Victoria in that price range. I wonder though.
Probably Chad's last. Chad bought the last $150,000
If you
new
could
home.
build, if you could, yeah, and by the way, and he could sell it for well over that now, but then he'd have to pump money back into something else. You wonder if is there a market somewhere that you could, you don't want it to be looked at as cheap housing. You don't want to be looked at as it's not government subsidy stuff. It's not city subsidized.
What we used to call starter homes.
But what's wrong with that? They can still, with today's code, anything that's built to code is going to be a quality dwelling. There's no reason you can't have a really nice house, and somebody coming out of college with a decent job can afford to buy and then stay here. I agree 100%.
Well, keep in mind with starter homes too, the whole point of having a starter home is that it's a starter home. It lets you put a root system down. And when we have people here in this community that are able to go into those homes, the whole point is to move up in your career so you can what? Move to a mid-range price home. So that you
Right.
can what? Move up to the next level. But if we don't keep people here with a root system in place that can't tie into our community and they don't have a reason to stay, it's really easy when you move here with all your stuff packed into boxes in a U-Haul and you rent it. And then 2 years later, look at the same boxes that you're supposed to put away that are still
Right.
sitting in the floor to put that back in the U-Haul and leave.
Like your dresser's empty because you lay all your laundry on your boxes. You know how that works?
I know
Yeah.
how that works.
Yeah,
It's like
true
living
story.
in college again.
Well, I've known you a long time, and you're as honest a human being as I've ever known. You are a passionate person. You're obviously an intelligent person. You married way above your normal course.
Let's do it.
And yes,
Three
sir.
of us.
Three of us.
We all outkicked our coverage.
And your story is one of overcoming and succeeding. And I love the idea that, folks, Chad was a guy that was literally living Big Mac to Big Mac and just said, you know what, I'm tired of being this guy. And just he said, I put one foot in front of the other, and the next thing you know, what is it now? 15? How many triathlons have you done?
15 full Ironmans.
Full Ironman. So
Yeah.
just tell them real quick. That's what you swim.
2.4 miles, bike 112, run 26.2 miles. It's a 140.6 mile race in under 17 hours.
And the guy that first laid that out was just kind of a quitter. Why not 2.5 miles? Why not 115 miles? Why not 26 and a half
That's
miles?
all he had in
Why
him.
has it got to be just an almost full-time deal, What's your best time in all that?
Oh gosh, probably like 12 hours and 35 minutes.
And that's 12 hours and 35 minutes of you're not stopping to rest. That's 12 hours of getting it.
But another thing that we've done with that is been able to encourage other people to know the power of self and that you're the solution to all your problems. And another thing that we like to do, this last race that I did was actually at the Ironman World Championship, which we're very proud of. But also we use our races to help raise money for people, our friends and families that are going through cancer and difficult problems. And this last race that we did, we raised over $10,000 for MD Anderson,
Awesome.
breast cancer research, things like that. So we use it as a give back opportunity also.
Well, that is one
Yeah.
thing. One thing I can pass along from personal experience is that Chad is a can-do guy, and if anybody could go into city council and say, "Hey, I'm here. I believe we can do these things and accomplish them as a community," this is a can-do gentleman that can go in and make those things happen.
For somebody who believes in self and that you have the ability to change your situation, your outcome, how does that jive with half of the country wanted the government to fix everything.
Well, this is just the key again about not sitting on the sidelines and waiting for somebody else to fix it. I could be the guy that's happy running regional steel and growing everything there and helping build South Texas and complaining about.
Well, you'll have to keep your day job because city council pays nothing.
Yeah.
Right. He doesn't know that yet.
Wait, what?
He thought it was $200,000 a year. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like, okay, gotta go. Watch out.
It's tough to put yourself out there and run for office.
No, it is.
really is. And that was a big fear factor for me to overcome. But it's important enough to not sit on the sidelines anymore. And, you know, even at UHB, our big encouragement to our alumni, make your mark. That really weighed heavy on me too. How am I going to make my mark if I'm sitting back there on the sidelines complaining and waiting for somebody else to fix the problem? Our generation has to get going, and our business leaders have to step up and try to help out.
Amen.
Good. Awesome.
Well, hey, we love having you come by, and we're going to take another break and wrap it up for Brother Gary and the Hall of Famer Ralph Salazar to come in. But I strongly encourage that Georgia gets the waffle. It's right across the street here. It is phenomenal.
They open at 7, so you can't
They're
tell them they're
open.
closed.
And you guys are a delightful family. Michelle, we appreciate you guys coming in and wish you the best. If nothing else, just hope it's a pleasant experience, you know, and you learn so much more about your neighbors and about what's going on in Victoria. So,
Chad, remind the voters when early voting starts. Election day, we know, is July 3rd. I've heard enough people lament about that day and not being an ideal day, but we got a great opportunity to go out and early vote.
You bet. So election day is on July 3rd, which is kind of tough. And we're encouraging people to get out June 16th through the 29th.
this Wednesday, folks, this Wednesday.
Yeah. And if you live in District 3,
Wednesday's your birthday?
it is.
Well, go vote for yourself on your birthday.
If you live in District 3, we would be honored to have your vote, and I'd like to ask for your vote. And if you'd like to learn more about our campaign, please visit chadfordvictoria.com and find us on Facebook. We've actually been doing a lot of videos to try to reach out to folks, and we're boiling complex things down like property tax, sales tax, the general fund in 2.5-minute increments. And they're entertaining. They're
Yeah,
fun.
it's good.
And I'm doing that, putting the extra effort in because I not only want to be a representative for us in District 3, I also want to be a resource.
Absolutely. Good.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.
Good luck hitting the streets and beating
We'll
the
see you in
pavement
the
this week.
neighborhood. Get the waffle. Tell them you want. Look, I recommend they do strawberry and blueberry, and they'll put it like on each half. And they'll cut it into 4 pieces. You can have 2, and they can each have 1. Y'all,
She's
she likes
excited.
that. She likes that idea.
Yeah, you've given her a battle plan for this
I
morning.
can sell a waffle.
You just did.
Let me tell you what else. Terry Murray at Motto Mortgage, she can sell a mortgage. How about 541-5454? If you've got that $200,000 house and you're used to paying $2,000 a month, and all of a sudden you go, wow, we only owe $100,000 on this place, and it sure would be nice to spruce up the kitchen. At today's interest rates, she might be able to pull 50, 60 grand out of that, and your payment doesn't even go up. Reach out to Motto Mortgage, 541-5454. Went Services, whether you want generators, solar panels, general plumbing, general electric work, a new home, old home, renovations, remodels.
You're building a man cave or a she shed. You want electricity in there?
Absolutely. I
Went
wish
can
I had
come
an
and run it.
outlet right here in this, under my sink in the bathroom. Well, Went can do that. Reach out to Carl Went and his team. Aaron Went, the son now, second generation of that business. USA Concrete Coatings, I talked to Charlie last week, 578-HOME.
You can talk to him too. 578-HOME.
He'll come out and help you with, they'll clean and then seal and fill in the cracks in your garage and put down a polyurethane coat that's tougher than nails, and it's got different flecks, different textures, different patterns you can put on it. You can make it a cowboy's man cave if you want. It's just a phenomenal product. They use it on sidewalks, patios, pool decks, anything that needs to be kind of spruced up. If you've got that drab-looking pool deck, Charlie can help you out and fix it. Reach out to him. And then the Gray Barn. Cheryl's doing great things, and we used to say, I'll give her a chance to come work on your party. But now I have people all the time go, oh, I was at a party the other night that Cheryl did, and man, it was phenomenal. 920-6803. Cheryl can help you make your next party or big time, like say a business, a sales meeting. She can make it memorable. It kind of sets the tone. You walk into a meeting and somebody took the time to decorate for it or to have
Make
a
it look
theme.
good. Yeah.
To have a theme set up. And Cheryl's the one that gets that, 920-6803. So look, we're right here at the top of the hour. We don't have everything completely flushed out, but we're going to continue to evolve. The content is still king, and it's so flattering to have gentlemen like Chad Hall who will come on, share their vision with Victoria, with all of us. And our access to those people is unparalleled in this community, and we're very, very flattered to have it. And I think it's because we strive to offer an honest environment. I mean, here you are. Tell us what you want us to know. We try not to steer the conversation too much, and we've been very, very blessed. Judge Zeller said he intends to come in this week.
Good.
The folks that come in and spend their time with us is what makes the show. So thank you all for having us. Tune in tomorrow. It'll only be Tuesday. It's not my favorite day, but you can always call us. And I need to make sure tomorrow I put the number 575-9509. But we're going to get off the phone before the liberals start crying. And we hope you guys have a great day and be safe out there.
Bye, folks.
The Wade and Carter Show is a paid programming, and KHMC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and The Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities for their opinion.